All right? Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halayim Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Makar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us this truth. Honors and salutations to all sincere Hakim on the four corners of the earth, laboring in honesty, sincerity, truth, and sound doctrine. All right? To the Akwathium and the children that believe on the true names of the Father and the Son, which the true name of the Father is Yahweh, the true name of the Son is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, Yahi, Yahweh means exist, or he told Moses, I am that I am, but he exists. Yahweh Shai, Yah meaning he, Yahweh Shai means the deliverer. He's going to be the one to deliver us out of this captivity that we in, man. My name is Ma'aka Allah bin Gad bin Yasha Allah. I'm with the Watchman Philadelphia camp, man. You know, and every year this effing time comes around, man, with this whole Thanksgiving thing, man. And I went over, you know, I did a little research on this whole Thanksgiving thing. And this thing is the name of the tribe, right? It says the Manataka in American Indian Council. All right? So the Manataka, that's Hebrew, man. So that's a cut to all these niggas that's talking that bullshit that the so-called Native Americans are not Israelites. Manataka. So you go through the Hebrew alphabet, and you're going to get Ma, Na, Ta, and Ka. All a part of our the Paleo Hebrew. You know? But anyway, it says the Manataka American Indian Council. It says the real story of Thanksgiving. It says by Susan Bates, whoever she is. Let's hop right into it. It says most of us associated the holiday with happy pilgrims and pilgrims sitting down to a big feast, and that did happen once. The story began in 1614 when a band of English explorers sailed home to England with a ship full of Patuaks, Indians bound for slavery. They left behind smallpox, which virtually escaped. So check it out, man. That also lets you know that Cristobal Colon, which you call Christopher Columbus, was here before, man. Well, he knew he knew where he was coming, what land he was coming to the snatch up or to destroy. Basically, was to destroy the people, the indigenous people of this land, basically. You know? So this is a cut to that whole flat earth shit too, man. When you hear the story that talks about, Christopher Columbus went to the queen of, what was it? Well, what the fuck? But he went to the queen where he was at. He was a Spaniard, so he was in Spain. So he went to them and was talking about, I know that the earth ain't flat, because they were saying that, like, once you pass the horizon. Now, if you ever sat on the beach or whatever, and you look as far as your eyes can see, it's like a line. And they was trying to say that once you sail to that particular line, you will fall off, you know, which is a bunch of bullshit. Esau has the bullshit with him, man, you know. So they was already over here, went back to Spain, came back because they knew who the fuck. They knew who was over here. Bottom line. That's in the book of Second Ezra. You know? But anyway, let's get back into this article. It says the story began in 1614 when a band of English explorers sailed home to England with a ship full of patriarch Indians, so they can't bound for slavery. So they came over here, snatched up some Indians, and took them back to England. And that's before that. And Cristobal Colon wasn't in England. All right. It says they left behind smallpox, which virtually wiped out those who had escaped. But by the time the Pilgrims arrived in Massachusetts Bay, they found only one living patriarch Indian, a man named, see now they're going off, Sequanto, who had survived slavery in England and knew their language. He taught them to grow corn and to fish and negotiated a peace treaty between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag nation. At the end of their first year, the Pilgrims held a great feast honoring Sequanto and the Wampanoags. But as word spread in England about the paradise to be found in the New World, religious zealots called Pt1 began arriving by the boatload. So they was Pt1. So Pt1, you look up the word, basically is pure. Pt1's pure. So they was trying to call it so pure. Coming over here, because that's the devil. But it says begin arriving by the boatload. So all right, now you gotta think about like back in history. You have Esau, right? They traveled and everything, trying to conquer different things. Because Job 9:24 tells you the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So what they were doing, when we went off, and Esau is known as the sword, Yahweh Shemi outside. So when you go off, guess what? The Most High going to send them to come and correct your ass. All right? So that's what happened. Because you had our people over here in the Americas, right? And they were brought over here. Why? Because we couldn't follow our high holy days and our land. We fucked up over there. So now the Lord was like, you know what? You want to mess up in your own house? I'm going to kick your ass out. So guess where we end up? Over here in the Americas. And you're still messed up. That's why what he do? He brought that. You know how when you was a kid, they bring the switch and whoop your ass with the switch? Because I got beat with plenty of switches. All right? So that's all Esau was, man. Well, is the switch. A Yahweh Shemi Shah. So when you go off and you do some dumb shit, guess what Yahweh Shemi Shah going to do? You're going to bring out the switch. The sword. To whoop your ass, man. And guess what? When you're getting that ass whipped, you're supposed to take it cheerfully, man. Let's get back into this, man. It says, but as word spread in England about the paradise to be found in the New World, religious zealots called Puritans began arriving by the boatload. Finding no fences around the land they considered it to be in the public domain, joined by other British settlers, they seized land, capturing strong young natives from slaves, Salakia, forced slaves, and killing the rest. So, there was, Salakia, there was a, and this is how you know, that Yahweh Shemel Shah let this happen. Why? Because we turned our back on him once again here. You know? We turned our back on him once again here. Being as though we left, we ran in 70 AD to escape Roman persecution, man. And you have brothers that ran to the western coast of Africa, and you have brothers that came all the way over here to the Americas, man. But guess what? You can't escape the let's say the long arm of the law, which they call it now. The long arm of the law is Yahweh Shem Shah, man. You can't escape him or his judgments. You know? And this is proof right here. So we ran over here to try to do right, but when you came over here, you still did fucking wrong. But you had dudes that was in these camps that wanted to do the right thing. All right? They wanted to do the right thing, but they were surrounded by niggas. I'm going to say that again. They were surrounded by niggas, man. And they took the fall of that nigga. But you had some that was delivered out of that. You know? Anyway, it says the Puritans began arriving by the boatload, finding no fences around the land. They considered it to be in the public domain, so they thought everything that they saw in front of their face, they could just partake it and take it. And they didn't even know how to take care of it, man. It says, joined by other British settlers, they seized land, capturing strong young natives for slaves and killing the rest. So they killed the weak. They captured the strong through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah. That's why I said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. But the Pequot nation, Pequot, and I've read this whole article, so I know it gets into the name. It's just slipping my mind right now how to pronounce it. But the Pequot nation had not agreed to the peace treaty. So Quanto had negotiated, and they fought back. So you got one dude, that's Israelite, was trying to negotiate with these devils, and the rest of the people like, yo, man, what the fuck is you doing? Like, you tripping, dog. And this is all going toward your Thanksgiving. So the title of this video is called, Fuck Your Thanksgiving, man. These crackers always try, they happily say, oh, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, you know? Now they say, and yo, because like they might think you're a Muslim or something like that, so they'll say happy holidays. Trying to sugarcoat it when they want to say happy Thanksgiving, man. You know? Anyway, let's get back into this. So it said the Sequanto had negotiated and they fought back. The Pequot War was one of the bloodiest Indian wars ever fought. So that was one of the bloodiest wars ever fought right here. Which they try to say, and yo, a lot of Israelite blood was shed right here, man. That's why it says, woe to a city that's built in blood, roughly paraphrasing, you know. Woe to a city that's built in blood, man. And how is America built? On the blood, sweat, and tears of what? The Native Americans, the Judites, which the Native Americans are the Gadites. You had the Reubenites, you know, the Issacharites that were here. You have Judah that came here on slave ships and all that, man. It says in 1637, near present-day Gorton, Connecticut, over 700 men, women, and children of the Pequot tribe had gathered for their annual Green Corn Festival, which is our Thanksgiving celebration. In the pre-dawn hours, the sleeping Indians in Slovakia, the sleeping Indians were surrounded by English and Dutch mercenaries who ordered them to come outside. All right, so that's just like a cop raiding your house, you know? And that's how Esau likes to move, man. So guess what? They come in the same way, man. What the scriptures say was written aforetime is for our learning, for our understanding. But you got these churches, these I'm going to say Israelite churches, right? Like Tazadakia, Nate, Snake, ISUPK, GOCC, ISUPK, you know, and all those alphabet groups. But you got these dudes, you know, that's keeping the people not on edge, man. And teach them like, yo, it's cool. Yo, you good. This, that, and the third. And they was the same ones, them niggas, the same ones in that spirit that was back then. And that and trying to keep that you know, trying to basically keep the people calm so Esau could come in and do what they want. But it says them to come outside. Those who came out were shot or clubbed to death, while the terrified women and children who huddled inside the long house were burned alive, man. So that's what these niggas on these churches are doing. And yo, to do that, they took that 501c3 charter, all right? And they keeping the men blind. So once you take that RFID microchip, all right, the men are going to die. The women and children are going to die, man. If you take that RFID microchip, you're going to die. And this is an article going back in history. It says those who came out were shot and clubbed, because what they trying to make the men do now, man? Go out and do that marching shit. You know? Go out and do the marching. Down there in D.C. to the Capitol. They taking your phone numbers, man. What the fuck? Like, any organization, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say it like that. Organization, like when you come to them and you want to learn something, the truth, and they be like, yo, brother, you know, this is so-and-so. Let me get your number, and I'm going to call you. I'm not fucking with you, cuz. Straight up. Getting back to this, it says, those who came out were shot and clubbed to death, while the terrified women and children who huddled inside the longhouse were burned alive. The next day, the governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony declared a day of Thanksgiving because 700 unarmed men, women, and children had been murdered, man. Don't that sound familiar, man? There's nothing new under the sun. So 700 unarmed men and women and children have been murdered. That's crazy, man. Same thing going on now. The cops killing you. So there it goes. It's nothing new under the sun. I'm going to say that again. Why? Because we're still being murdered. Gunned down, man. And they gunned them niggas down, man. All right? It said, cheered by the victory, the brave colonists and their Indian allies attacked village after village. So you had sellout niggas going with these fucking crackers the front on their brother, man. Which is crazy. But guess what? You still had that shit down, man. It says women and children over. Take it back to the top. It says children by their victory. The brave colonists and their Indian allies attacked village after village. Women and children over 14 were sold into slavery, while the rest were murdered. Boats loaded with as many as 500 slaves regularly left the ports of New England. Bounties were paid for Indian scalps to encourage as many deaths as possible, man. So they was paying these motherfuckers to kill our people, man. They was encouraging that, man. But you niggas want to sit down and eat a motherfucking turkey, man. Like Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai ain't coming back to destroy this place for what the fuck you're doing. It says, following an especially successful raid, that's what they say all the time, and they still say, yo, this mission was successful. It was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai that you fucking faggots was able to take us down, man. Because we fucked up. You don't bullshit so, you fucking idiots. And yo, excuse my language if you don't like it, like I say. Don't watch the motherfucking page, man. Because today is not a day to be thankful for shit. Says following an especially successful raid against the Pequot in what is now Stamford, Connecticut, the churches announced a second day of Thanksgiving. So, yo, they was killing us. And, yo, it wasn't just one day they was feasting. They was feasting after every time they murdered us, man. Every time they murdered us. So those brothers was here first. It says, following an especially successful raid against the Pequot in what is now Stamford, Connecticut, the churches announced the second day of Thanksgiving to celebrate victory over the heathen savages. When they're the real heathen. They're the heathen, but they try to call us heathens. We taught them in the old world. We taught them here, man. Fucking bastards. It says, during the feasting, they hacked off Salakia. During the feasting, the hacked off heads of natives were kicked through the streets like soccer balls. Even friendly Wampanoag did not escape the madness. Even the ones that was cool with them niggas. That's how you know never trust thine enemy, man. Sirach 12:10. And I got scriptures lined up. I just want to read through this first, man. You know? Gotta read through this first, man. It said, did not escape the madness. Their chief was beheaded. So that was the head was beheaded. And that's what they do. What's the saying? How Esau said? You cut the head off a snake, the body going to die. They believe that, man. And it's the truth, though. So through the spirit of power, y'all about to see me outside. Y'all about to see me outside, let that happen. All right? It says, in his head impaled on a pole in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where it remained on display for 24 years. So they took the head of the head. They took the head of this tribe, which was the head of that's the Gadites, chopped it off and put it on the fucking pole for 24 years, man. And you niggas celebrating fucking Thanksgiving, man. You gotta be kidding me, man. It says the killings became more and more friends, with days of Thanksgiving feasts being held after each successful massacre. The killings became more and more friends, with days of Thanksgiving feasts being held after each successful massacre. That should make some sense to you. George Washington finally suggested that only one day of Thanksgiving per year be set aside instead of celebrating each and every massacre. Later, Abraham Lincoln decreed Thanksgiving Day to be a legal national holiday during the Civil War. On the same day, he ordered troops to march against the starving Sioux in Minnesota. So that's how devilish these bastards are, man. They're going to make Thanksgiving Day legal on the same day they tell the troops and everything. You had niggas, you had Native Americans, you had Judites in the Civil War. You had Israelites in there, and they're going to name it a national holiday to celebrate this shit for the massacre because they knew they was going to take it down. Through the spirit and power, y'all about to see me outside because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. You know? But all that shit is about to cease. You niggas eating fucking turkey, man. It says this story doesn't have quite the same fuzzy feeling associated with it as the one where the Indians and Pilgrims are all sitting down together at the big feast. But we need to learn our true history so it won't ever be repeated, that's bullshit because it's going to be repeated. They trying to say we need to learn our history so it won't be repeated again because they don't want to pay up, man. And guess what's the big payback for Esau? Their blood. Their blood is required, man. All right? It said next Thanksgiving when you gather, this Thanksgiving was the day. Next Thanksgiving, when you gather with your loved ones to thank the Most High, well, it says God, for all your blessings, think about those people who only wanted to live their lives and raise their families. They also took time out to say thank you to the Creator for all their blessings. And with that, I'm going to say, y'all about to see me outside Barakatah, because this is part 1. All right? And I'm going to read part 2, the very next lesson. Shalom.